Hi, this is Sam here from samnuku.com, and I want to thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video. In this video, what I wanted to discuss with you is how to dominate your niche in 4 steps. Why you need to niche it down in order to be successful online. So basically what we're going to be covering in this video is 4 different things. Number 1, identify authorities. Number 2, immerse yourself. Number 3, learn to teach. And number 4, be consistent. Step number 1, identify authorities. What you want to do essentially is find 4 to 5 superstars that are in your niche. You want to connect with them in some way, shape or form, whether that be socially on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, or simply by sending them ongoing emails to be able to connect with them and grab their attention somehow. Now you don't want to follow any more than 4 or 5 of these superstars, right? Because you will get overwhelmed with the number of emails you get, with the number of Facebook messages you get, or the number of strategies that you get, and it can get very confusing, which will just lead to demotivation, and you won't necessarily want to do what it is that you're trying to achieve in the first place. What you also want to do is you want to attempt to assist them in some way, shape or form. An example that I've used in the past is engagement. I connected with a guru on Facebook, and basically what I did is I liked, commented on every single one of his posts, and anything that was relevant to me I shared. I sent videos, I sent messages, I asked questions. I basically made myself known, but I did it not in a way of me pitching what it was that I had to offer, but by offering to help him in what he was trying to do, helping spread his message. And that's a way that you can do it as well. You can obviously do the same thing with YouTube videos. You can do the same thing with their Instagram messages. You can do the same thing with their trainings. Help them out in some way, shape or form. It's definitely the best way to grab their attention. Step number 2, I want you to immerse yourself completely in your niche market. So you must be obsessed, and there is a thing in basketball called Mamba mentality. This Mamba comes from Kobe Bryant, who's known as a black Mamba, right? And he has this mentality that no matter what, you just get it done. He is obsessed to just the absolute nth degree. But that has led him to being in the NBA professional league, the best competition on the planet. Instead of the average of 3 years, at a very average level, he has been at the prime level for 20 years. He had a 20-year career, and I would say at least 15 of those were at the top of the game. To the point now where he's regarded as arguably one of the top 10 players of all time, and the second best shooting guard behind the one and only Michael Jordan. Alright, so I want you to commit yourself and immerse to the point of expertise, just like Kobe did. Have that Mamba mentality. The reason you want to do that, mostly in my opinion, is you want to be able to answer all the questions re the niche that you've decided to immerse yourself into, and the sub niches that come from there, that will come from your potential prospects. And this is how you come across as an authority, because you're providing content and value to people and helping them answer the questions that they're trying to seek answers for. But be the cool expert who always helps, because it's the right thing to do. You've got to be willing to give back in order to get. I remember a quote that went somewhere along the lines of, in order to achieve what it is you want to achieve, you have to help people accomplish what it is that they want to accomplish. And that's my mentality. I remember what it was like to start, and I tried to immerse myself, and I just got so overwhelmed. And if someone like yourself, who was willing to learn and teach and do, came along and helped me in my life, and that was the turning point for me, and I want you to be able to do that for somebody else. Okay? Be a difference maker. Step number 3, I want you to learn, do, and teach. And this was really a hard one for me personally, because I am of the perfectionist mindset, and that is not a good thing. Basically, what I had to learn to do was how to digest a piece of knowledge, apply it to what it is that I was doing, and then teach it, all within a span of 24 to 48 hours. It's just completely out of my comfort zone. Typically what I wanted to do is learn every single thing about anything that was involved with it before I wanted to take a single step in terms of teaching. So like for example, email marketing, my initial mindset was I need to learn absolutely everything about email marketing before I can provide any sort of value to anybody else. That's not true. The moment you learn how to send an email, you can provide value to somebody else, because there are people out there who literally don't know how to send an email. I mean, that was me 10 years ago. So if you'd come along at that point, to me, you would have been a superstar, because I didn't know how to do that, right? So every time you learn one thing, one step, and you can provide that value and knowledge to somebody else to help them along in their journey. I want you to do and learn a lot more than you are studying. The 80-20 principle is what comes to my mind. When I initially started, I'd say I probably studied 80% of the time and did 20% of the time, and I never taught, but which is obviously part of this step 3 equation. And what I'm doing now is I've flipped the script, is that I'm studying now probably close to like 5 to 10% of the time, and I'm doing 90 to 95% of the time, because you only perfect by doing, right? Not by studying. But yes, you can become an expert in theory, but until you actually do it and apply it, I think you'll agree that you'll never be the expert that you should be. Okay, by doing this, by learning, doing, and teaching, you become known, liked, and trusted, because you become the go-to guy or go-to girl that people will turn to when they need an answer for what it is that they're seeking for. And if you provide an opportunity for them to connect with you, coaching, programs, courses that you put together, if you've provided enough value, then you will absolutely gain their trust, and that's how you lead to long-term customers. I use basically this principle to create my first 4-year customer, and the only reason that 4-year customer stopped, he still wants to be my customer now, but it was because I got out of that niche. He still messages me to this day, even though I got out of that business 12 months ago, asking me, when am I going to get back into it? I want to get involved again. What can I do to help get it back and running? This way, when you offer something like I mentioned earlier on, you can come out with a bang, right? I don't condone selling every single day. Even though marketing is part of the game every single day, you want to market for a purpose, not to sell, right? So when you come out and offer something, I know leaders in the internet marketing industry that only sell once a year, but when they sell that once, man, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Something that 80% of us strive to achieve, selling every single day. All right, so we need to lean more towards that model. Step 4, consistency. Being consistent is what actually gets you recognized. You want to stop stopping. Because I don't know about you, but you just need to just keep going and never quit. I know that I was very inconsistent, and I know that I stopped all the time. And it's basically like when you get going and people start noticing you because you keep showing up. You keep showing up with a new YouTube video. You keep showing up a new blog post. You keep showing up with a new value-based social media post, right? And it just builds and builds and builds to the point where you break people down and they go, you know what? This guy obviously knows what he's doing. He's all the way committed. I want to be part of it, right? Enthusiasm is infectious, and your enthusiasm and passion can shine through by you showing up consistently. And you don't want to be perceived as unreliable and trustworthy, which is what happens when you show up and disappear. I've seen it before, where I've seen people show up, they're all guns blazing for 2 weeks or 2 months, and then they disappear completely, and then I'm so grateful that I didn't get involved with them, that I listened to my intuition saying, you know what, this guy's not going to stick it out. He's not going to be there consistently, and I want to see if he proves me wrong, then great, I'm with him. But if he doesn't, I'm glad I didn't follow along. So you want to show up often, once a week, better than not at all, right? So the mindset behind that is that when I first started blogging, I was terrified of blogging. So my goal was to create one blog post per week and nothing else, right? I was too scared to do multiple, but I knew I needed to push myself. I knew I needed to do it. It's better to show up once a week than it is to show up 3 times in 4 days and then disappear completely, right? It's almost like exercising, if you will. It's better to go to the gym 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for example, then, consistently over a 4 to 5 to 6 month span, you'll get better results than if you were to show up every day for a whole month. That's 30 days straight, and then do nothing for 12 months or 6 months, right? So keep that in mind. This is really important. I didn't realize how important it was when I first started. When my coach was taking me through the idea of remaining consistent, I was like, yeah, whatever. And I would just kind of palm it off as nothing, right? But again, point number one, being consistent is what gets you recognized. Showing up all the time, you gain people's trust. They get to know you a little bit better. They fall in love with your content and what you're actually putting out there, to the point where they basically gain your passion and your enthusiasm for the business, and they get really motivated and they want to follow you along. Okay, so make sure you remain consistent. But look, I want to thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video. For now, I want you to go ahead and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please check out my blog for more internet marketing tutorials, tips, blog posts, and training videos, and I will see you in our next training very soon. Take care, and we'll talk soon.